So tonight we've got the news, we've got pickups, we've got Rohan's Corner, and we've got tonight's discussion as well, which we'll reveal a little bit later. But first and foremost, shall we have a look at this week's news?
No. Who said no? It's got to be Alexis, hasn't it? Right. We'll start with the mainline news. So, ready? And there we go. Right. So, a little bit of mainline news again from Australia. They seem to be getting everything news seems to be coming out there. They've already got Rhinox. So, this was a photo, I believe, taken from a store somewhere in Australia. Do they still have Toys R Us down there? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
They've got toys.
I know there's some places where they seem to
just Canada.
Good old Canada. So anyway, wherever this was taken, so they've got Rhinox on the shelves, the new Rhinox figure. So I'm amazed we haven't had a review of that yet, have we?
Yeah, there's one up.
Oh, is there?
There was one came up yesterday. I can't remember who it was by. I'd never heard of him before, but that's not saying much. So.
Right. Well, there you go.
It was a decent review as well. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, you'll have to share that.
Did you get to see the box?
Yes, it's. Do they have the box? That's always the good question.
He did have the box because he started with it in the box and was just like he said he thinks Target just dropped the bomb or something like that. He starts with released Rhinox early, so I'm pretty sure it was America.
Oh, is it America? Oh,
possibly
in America. But well, either way,
you speak American.
The box thing is an interesting one because obviously we've had some reviewers who've been getting some very early figures, and one reviewer in particular who always shows off the packaging, and this time just straight away start the video with, and here it is out of the packaging. Just thinking you didn't have the packaging, did you?
There's nothing suspicious.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Monsieur Right.
Shame on you, Andy. Shame on you.
Oh, I feel terrible. No, I don't. And then this was shared, I think, by Alexis. Is this add-ons for the Kingdom figures, Alexis?
Fillers. I'm going to get these.
Fillers, sorry.
Pretty good. Fillers. So again, Shane's Paul's not here because, again, he's going to love this. It hides Huffer's Love Glove. These are made by the same company. Again, I don't know how they're going to be distributed or sold. I'm assuming 3D printed. I'll find out. I'll probably get some myself. So once I find out, I'll let you know. But fillers for the legs, and then fillers for other parts as well. So Huffer has a little clip that goes above his cab to hide his hands in alt mode. And I don't quite know what this bit is because I haven't got Huffer, so I haven't.
It's a filler for the back of the leg, isn't it? Because the legs are quite hollow at the back.
Ah, okay, yeah, I haven't got him. So, and again, there's a little bit of a leg. It looks like a leg. Is it a leg? No, it looked like he was taller or shorter in the other one. So I guess it's just fillers, isn't it?
I don't think it's tall.
No.
See, this is something which might be a bit of discussion tonight, and our discussion's going to be about, do we, fear of missing out on Transformers? Do we feel pressure to buy something or not? Or is it going to be more expensive later? But I always wonder when it comes to fillers, I don't tend to get them. I've got some, but I don't tend to get them because I think it's almost like doubling the price of your Transformer almost.
I just use cheese.
A bit of cheese in there works lovely. Works a treat.
But I just don't know. I mean, because a lot of people argue about the prices of Transformers, and then suddenly they're talking about, we're going to get these, fillers for them, which is almost like £12-15.
And it used to be a thing, didn't they, about people complaining and saying, well, I shouldn't have to buy a figure and then buy add-on bits for the figure to make the figure how the figure should have been. But now it seems people just do. It's just become the norm for some, not all, but for some people.
I think there's another layer to that, and I know we're going off topic here, going off on a tangent, but there's the add-on kits, which Jamie's absolutely right. Sometimes are near enough the same price or half the price of the actual figure. But then another one of my, I suppose pet hates is a wrong term, but toy hack sticker upgrade sets as well.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, they're another thing that I buy toy hack stickers to replace stickers on my older toys, and I think it's amazing. But I don't see the point of spending, £100 on a toy or whatever it might be, or even 50 quid on a toy, and then sticking a load of stickers over the top of it. And I know they're well done, but I just can't. My head just can't deal with it.
Yeah, I can't
be asked.
Yeah, I can't fathom that as well.
Yeah,
you think about vintage stuff you've got, and you're trying to, get it back to what it originally looked like. But the new stuff,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the newer stuff when people aren't happy with the look or the paint job on it, or feel that the paint job isn't adequate, so they want to use the stickers instead. Which they want to do it, fair enough. But I wouldn't shut up.
But Jazz is a great example of that. Studio Series Jazz, because there was a sticker set for that. It was near enough the same price. I think it was anyway. I might be wrong, so shoot me down in the comments. But I think it was about the same price as what Jazz was by the time you get it imported and everything like that. And it's like, well, is it really worth it? Does it make a £20 figure then a £50 figure with some stickers? I don't think it does.
Not.
Yeah,
that's what you want, isn't it? Fair enough, but I can't be bothered spending that. I'd rather spend it on something else.
The thing is, when people show the stickers off and go, "Look at this is awesome," and I feel like, yeah, that's good, but I look at it and go, kind of like the old one. I don't know, it's the same old to me. Yeah. I just like Jazz and the way he's depicted just now.
Yep. So some of the other news from this week was TF Nation doing their event, spotlight event with Tanya Gennady, if I've said that correctly. Anybody help me out on that one? Is it Gennady or Bernardi?
I think
it's just another spelling for Smith.
Yeah, Tanya Smith.
Anyway, she is the voice of Miko, my absolute favorite character from Transformers Prime. And
I thought that was one of the most annoying characters you found.
I just realised I looked at this. I read this wrong. I thought this was a whole day event. I looked at top and I saw 9 o'clock, and looked at the bottom and saw 9 o'clock. I thought, fucking 12 hours. I've realised there's 2 different time zones.
Yes, it's the different time zones. Yeah, British Standard Time on the left, or BST for us. So for people who've bought tickets for this, I think there were levels, weren't there, of tickets. I think the most expensive was 60, and
top tier was 60. Yeah.
And they get to, those people who've bought those tickets get the opportunity to take part in all these events, which we want to support TF Nation, don't we? We want to keep it going and help it out a little bit. But
I feel like I should say something negative, because I think we always say something positive about these things, because we want to support TFN. And I think, to me, the biggest thing about TFN is actually going there, meeting the people, going around the toy room and events. And you're paying £60 for a ticket, you're getting half the thing. You're almost getting a scaled down version for about the same price. And I also feel, technology wise, we don't all have the same equipment to fully assess what's on show there as well. So I feel in some cases people are not going to get the same experience as well, where I think TFN...
I think people need to temper their expectations of
but I think at £60 they shouldn't have to temper too much. I think that should have been shown in the price. And I think it's because my expectations are TFN do such an amazing job for the physical thing we actually go to, and the fact to give help with students and people with big families who've got lots of children, they can come in for free, which is absolutely amazing. And you cannot say enough about how amazing that is, because that's a fantastic thing. I wish more events would actually do, so people are not punished for having children or punished for having more than 2 children. I just think for this, it's I don't know. It'd be interesting.
It's expensive for what it is, isn't it?
It is expensive.
It does feel like it.
I think you get a few other things with it, don't you? You get a T-shirt and bits and pieces. So there are some other things thrown in.
Paying for merch, then, aren't you? I guess you
get a signature as well, don't you?
Yeah,
you get a signed piece of art or something. It's great for people who like that background character, I suppose, because that's what she was, really, a background character. And you know what, if people want to sign up for it, I know a few of the people at WeChat too have signed up for it, and if they have a good time, then happy days. It's not for me. I wouldn't pay £60 for it. And you know what, half the thing is probably because we're all stuck on these bloody video calls with work or whatever it might be all day. I don't really want to. I know I'm doing it right now, right? So I'm being a bleeding hypocrite, but you don't really want to pay £60 to sit on another one for 5 hours. That's just how I feel at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I really kind of hope they're not relying on this to survive. If you know what I mean? If that's the reason it's £60, they need the £60 per person to keep TF Nation going full stop.
I was under the impression.
I hope it's not that desperate. Yeah, because it'd be a real shit if TF Nation goes down the pan. Like,
I was under the impression that are they doing this and then there's going to be another big broadcast this year?
Yeah,
there is a big broadcast.
So I don't know if the £60 ticket ties into that as well, or if it's just for this event,
so
to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see, won't we? We'll see moving forward. Anyway, so that's all the official news. That's all official and everything. And so now we'll go on to the always popular third-party
I've
news.
just noticed I've got like a beauty spot there.
Okay, we'll call it a beauty spot. Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm called it, a beauty spot, not a spot.
Alexis, has he gone?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, I'm still here.
Thank God for that, because I'm going to.
I remember putting the name in the chat, so I just remember the name of this. This is Jizay Toys cassette Shockwave. So if you go to the next image,
the Shockwave that nobody else
Shockwave cassette. So I have no idea on the scale of it.
Okay.
They've done a few of these, haven't they? They've done a Starscream and a Megatron.
Sure, they have. Quite cool. 4 modes.
That's all right, yeah.
In these
4 modes. So 4 modes, 3 modes.
Is it masterpiece scale then?
3 modes. I have no idea. It's tape size.
Oh,
3 modes.
I think it's G1 cassette size, Brad.
Okay.
G1 cassette size. Yeah.
Clever,
I think they're quite cool. I think it looks good for what it is.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks all right. I'd be interested to see what kind of size it is. I suppose if you're a big Shockwave fan as well, it's the kind of thing you might want to pick up.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a novelty thing to me. But this was very interesting. So go on.
This is New Age. It's a New Age Devastator, and it comes with little trumpets as well.
Oh, you gave it away. We were going to get to the trumpets.
Bone crusher there. I thought it's got a lot of good leg articulation as well, actually.
To me, it looks a hell of a lot like the Combiner Wars versions. Just the general look of them. I mean, you kind of expect that because they're going to look similar.
The figures look a bit better than the Combiner Wars.
Oh yeah, they're better. They look more articulated for a start.
Because let's be honest, the figures for the Combiner Wars Constructicons were pish.
Yeah.
You know, they were not good. That's why I have it as Devastator. I love it as Devastator. Individual bots, no.
Any ideas what the price point is of these?
No, not yet, unfortunately. They've just shown these. You can pre-order it, but there's no idea on the price just yet.
What's the size? Are they like deluxe size or something?
New Age.
Legends are they?
So new Age figures generally are about sort of 4 inches, just under, so 3.5. But again, combined, I imagine it's going to be the same sort of size as the Magic Square one, about 10 inches. Sorry, Magic Square Menasor, sorry, which has just come out recently. So roughly 10 inches. The challenge with New Age is most figures with New Age, if you look at their Bumblebee and Cliff, they were £25 each. These are bigger figures, which obviously technically have 3 modes. So they're probably going to be £30 each, I imagine. That's probably the price point. So you're going to pay 6 figures.
I thought I read they were coming in 2 packs. I thought they were going to release them in 2s. So
I
60 quid then.
Something about
£60 then. Probably 60 quid, I imagine, for 2 pack. So imagine you're going to be paying, 50 quid? No. Yeah, 60. I would say 60. Bumblebee and Cliff are 50 quid. And these are bigger. So imagine they're 60 quid. So you're going to be paying £180 for a Legend scale combiner.
I can't argue
when
with
it's
your
third
maths.
party, like that's what you're paying, I guess.
They are.
That looks nice. It looks really
third
nice.
party tax.
The engineering in Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper was really good. So for example, Cliff Jumper, in his car mode, you know, in that one episode when they died by Island, when all the time warps open and Cliff Jumper with tracks and sea spray, and you had the hydrofoils that you drove on. So they've got 4 individual hydrofoils for Cliff Jumper in his sport mode, and they're magnetic. So they clip onto the wheel, they just spring onto the wheels magnetically.
That's pretty cool.
That's quite. Yeah, so it's little things like that
So
make
it's the extra care that they put into it, the little
and the paint as well. It's the paint as well. If you look at all their Seekers, obviously Farrelly goes to bed with one each night. There's so many of them. He's a slut for them, but they're between 50 and 70 pounds each.
I'll have to edit that bit out.
No, he won't.
No, I won't.
He's a Seeker slut. He knows he's a Seeker slut.
Right, what's this, Alexis?
Moon Studios Raiden. This is their the last 2 that we're seeing effectively. These are the 2 arms. So you got the sort of Kong arms there. So they're pretty good. Again, similar sort of scales to Zeta. What do you think? I think this is a bit of a Zeta knockoff, almost like the same sort of design, guys.
I like the way you managed to send me the smallest
Lego rails
photos again.
Lego rails.
Lithuanian look.
Everybody loves it.
They all know Raiden, then you know these bots, of course.
Have you been to the
And they-
Lithuania?
they're
I think I've
people who
asked
know
that
their
before,
cheese.
Brad.
They're together as well. So they do actually join up like a proper train. If you've got a Lego Railway, then you can see that as well. And then we come on to this is a Marder, I think.
Oh
it is.
yeah,
This is,
no, Energon.
Energon Fans Hobby. So this is Fans Hobby. The
Oh, is
combined.
this
This is
Prime?
the first.
Energon
Oh, no
Combiner.
way.
Yeah, it's Energon
Optimus
Prime. Yeah,
Energon
Energon Prime.
Combiner, yeah. So this is
Yeah.
the first time we've seen the Combiner. This is the Prime, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, with his drones. They were just
Yeah.
drones, weren't they? In Energon.
they were drones. Yeah,
Yeah.
You
I
win
got
for
the
that,
original
Brad.
list. No, because I think they're gonna do it Hasbro one, and it'll be cheaper. And I'm cheap as fuck. More money for cheese.
I just
Fans
don't like
Money
Energon
motions.
Next
I
door
just,
there.
I just don't like Energon or the style. Although people
You
do
can-
like some of the toys.
It's uber chunkerific. That Prime, like they're just it's the age and what it was at the time. Everything is just mentally resistant to.
It's almost like Transformers became Power Rangers to me. You know,
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's not far off. It was, looking back, it was such a good time where the plastic was just denser than most windows. It was,
Especially in Wales.
Exactly.
Oh, here comes the anti-Welsh.
So he stands out.
Always
This
Always
guy-
open
this
to
guy's
anti-Welsh.
about,
No one is more anti-Welsh than Welsh
From
people.
that image
that was
there,
pro-Welsh.
this guy will stand at about 14, 15 inches. This guy will be
Right.
14, 15 inches.
Big lad.
That's nice. That's cool.
You're right
Yeah.
though. When I was sorting out some of my stuff a few weeks ago, I found a load of my Unicron trilogy stuff. And do you remember the cliff jumper? Was it
Yeah.
the
Energon Cliff Jumper.
Yeah, massive. and
Yeah,
chunky.
huge.
Yeah,
Giant
unbelievable.
figure, a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good Powlings figure. I sold mine a couple of years ago, but yeah, he's just ridiculously big figure that's just
Yeah.
like,
But a bit minced because you got rid of him.
yeah, just like, yeah, he is a bit shit.
How
I love that figure, but he's a bit
how exactly
shit.
did Jamie just completely turn you around in
I know.
literally seconds?
I didn't want to say it, but when
It's
Jamie says
Jamie.
it sounds so sweet. You
It's
can't
not the
deny it.
first
Jamie's
time he's
eyes,
turned you
his
around.
eyes
Anyway,
don't lie,
it
Brad.
is
His
a too
eyes,
easy
they get me
joke.
as well.
And that was the
Got me
news.
We were in prison together.
You call it prison, but it was a prison of love.
Metaphorical.
We were talking about
As a
last night,
present, Brad
weren't we?
left the soap from the soap on the rope.
He'll
on
edit
Jamie's
this out
pillow.
now.
I hope he
He
doesn't.
He went straight to the shower to find that soap.
All I got of that was
Between us,
something to find that soap.
Sorry about this.
Yeah, and that was the news. So,
True story.
Okay.
crack
So
on.
now we're on to pickups. So who wants to go first this week?
I don't
That
mind.
will jump at once. Go on, Alexis.
Brad,
you go
You
first.
put- yeah, Brad put his hand up. There you go.
Oh, did I? Okay, go on, Brad.
I'll go first while my internet's working properly.
Okay.
Well, actually, the first pickup this week was a new hob that I just installed today, which has got
Nice.
nothing to do with Transformers. Now, yeah, the other day there's a little crack in our hob for quite a while, and I was denying that I needed to buy a new hob. But I made my tea the other day, packed half of it into my lunchbox for the next day, and pushed the lid down, and the crack just went through the hob. So I had to buy a new hob. By myself.
Taking any
as well.
pictures?
By
Have you got any
myself.
There
photos
is a,
to show?
yeah, there's a pic. Yeah, I sent one to the group, man. Yeah, I sent one to the group. There's a picture. But me and Ed we took our first trip in a while to Smith's 2 weeks last week. My chronological referencing is all off. But I said I wasn't going to get any Beast Wars figures, and I meant it. But I bought Dinobot.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Because there wasn't much there, and
Will
it
of
was like,
Steel.
go on, get Dinobot. And I was like, I quite like Dinobot as a character. I like Beast Wars. I just said I wasn't buying any because I sold all my Beast Wars figures. I'm not going down that hole again. It appears that I am. But I really like it. Like he's not very intuitive the first time you transform him, but I had a good like half an hour of figuring out what on earth to do with his legs when you put them in dinosaur mode. And I like that. I quite like the figuring out what the hell is going on and then learning it and then knowing it, I suppose. I don't know. But yeah, I
I've
really
gone down the
like
cul-de-sac. I'd like to come back out, please.
The head
can't
sculpt's
find a
majestic.
drive to reverse in. Everyone reverses in our drive up here because it's the only bloody drive in the cul-de-sac. But yeah, it's I really like him. He's great. I'm not tempted to buy any more. Maybe Air Razor, and I'd probably buy like maybe a Pterosaur if they brought one.
And
out,
maybe
or,
T-Rex, and
No, don't say that. No, a depth
and then once
charge if
you've
they
got
brought
that,
one
you still just get the cheetah. You know.
You may as well.
I might get cheetah. I had the Henke one of these for years, and I really loved it. And when I saw it was going for 70 quid on eBay, I sold it straight away. So well, it's nice to have a Dinobot, and I like him. But I'm really making this last, aren't I? Really making it last. Yeah, it's just Dinobot this week. So Dinobot, and he's great. I really like him, but I'm holding off on buying any more. My ID Toys order for the Studio Series figures that I already have finally came through. So I begrudgingly paid £114 for all of those. They're arriving tomorrow. Don't know what I'm going to do with them.
I was in the same situation with you. I've kept some as doubles, but other ones I was thinking moving on. I didn't want to cancel. I didn't want to cancel.
I didn't want to do that either. Yeah. I felt a bit bad. So I promised one to John Grieve because he sent me a Game Boy he sent me a Game Boy for free because I refurbished Game Boys. I promised one to my mate Brian Hancock's, who's a legend and just wanted a jazz. And the others I'll probably just scrub myself with in the packaging.
You said refurbed, you turn into game persons.
What's that?
Your Game Boy refurbed, you turn them into game persons.
Well, I can show you one if you want, what I do with them. Have I got time?
No.
You got old walk? No, game person.
No, it's all right, thanks.
I put new screens in
and that was Brad. He won't be back next week or ever again after that.
Because
extremely
he called it a Game Boy.
That's the one I won't be back.
Get a Game Boy for us.
That was shocking. I'm glad you picked up in that.
We'll get one. Yeah, we'll go get one.
Oh, dear.
Can I go next?
What was so this is like a Game Boy Pocket.
That was too quick. That's far too quick.
It would appear the batteries are gone. But there's a new screen in that's kind of like, hang on, no.
When he says refurb, does he mean change batteries?
There's a Game Boy like, so you know how shit Game Boy screens always used to be. Well, there you go. Put an LCD screen in them so they're nice and bright.
I can't even put a post up in the wall. I'm useless at that stuff.
I do those and I sell them on eBay. So John sent me a Game Boy to refurbish. And that took way longer than it should have.
I may have to look into you about repubbing some virtual stuff.
Can you turn the Game Boy
garage?
Something else?
I can just put the screen, like put a bigger screen in it and like an LCD screen in it. But I do GameCubes and stuff like that, and all sorts I sell on eBay. All sorts of dodgy shit that we shouldn't do. Surprised Nintendo haven't launched.
That's why you've come on, isn't it, Brad? To hawk
hawk my wares.
Don't worry, I'll be editing all that out.
If Nintendo's watching, these aren't Nintendo
www.beaks, where there shouldn't be beaksconsoles.com. Where's she hidden the cheese.net. .net/retail.
That's why the cow laughs.
Oh god, that lasted too long.
Alexis.
Go on, then, Alexis.
Who's left?
I like the shorts. Peach shorts. Is that peach or is it like a red?
I got this. I got this. This is IKEA furniture. I got lots of this.
Oh god.
Okay, moving on.
This is why my office is the other way around, because all my bots are at the other end now, and I shared a picture with the guys the other week about cleaning bots, and my boy's playroom now is full of bots. And I realize now I probably don't have. I need to steal 2/3 of them in that room, and I'm out of space. And I haven't put all the cabinets up yet, but I'm thinking, maybe I need to. And I said I was going to downsize, and I suddenly think I don't want to downsize, but I like my desk where it is because I have the window. so I need to work out what I'm going to do. So I have a lot of these
buy a new
things.
The only possible option.
No, so I'm going to work it out. I did sell. I sold some bots. I sold some bots to Chris Gaunt this week. I thought, I'm going to start making a difference, right? I'll sell the bots that take up all the room. So I sold New Age, Cliffjumper, and Bumblebee.
This is the smallest.
I was going to say Unicron still there,
but they had such big personalities. So New Age.
Yeah, that's it.
So
big egos.
Hopefully, by the time I'm back on the show, you'll see my new setup, and there is actually a lot of bots either side of this room. It's a fairly big room, but you can't see them.
You could always get tents for your two boys and tell them it's an adventure and make them live out there for like 20 years until 21.
20-year adventure.
Yes. It's
I
camping.
could do a really,
Or if you've
I
got
could
a
do really-
shed.
Is that what living in Scotland's like, James?
Yeah.
I could do.
So when I
could do
came
the-
down to England, I actually seen Windows for the first time. I was like, fuck.
I could.
Twitter anyway. Doesn't Transformers Twitter
No.
run the country now?
I have nothing this
Quite
week.
possibly.
I have
You hate
nothing.
me.
So I sent X Transport Streetwise back because when I took out the box, I realised that the knee was loose and started coming away. So I sent it back to a Mega Lock. So
Played it safe.
and I've actually said to him I want a refund. I don't want another bot because I just sort of like in my because. And I sort of thought deeply about this. I saw everyone having trouble with this bot, and I thought, I want to, transform it. And after the shit I have with the Venusaur, am I now out with X Transpots? I'll happily pay the late tax. I want to see how they turn out because again, that was 70 quid. Hotspots were going to be 100, so that's 4 70s, which are 280 plus the 100, 380 plus the trailer, which is probably going to be 100. So £500, and then one wrong move. And
Mate, it seems like such a scary game, the third-party game.
And if it wasn't such an absolute fucking ball ache, these bots were, and they look so good, and it's like they've got lots of fun electronics and stuff. I'm just like, and it's got like the doors open, you've got seats in the steering wheel. It's just like, but if you can't get the joints right, so the knee basically has a ratchet. So you know like how the old Street, so it's got a massive ratchet, which you have to hold tightly to go, and then it's got another knee bend here, right? So you've got a knee bend here and a ratchet here, right? And that knee bend there was loose, but again, it's just so, if you do the wrong time, that thing's going to snap. And it's just
I don't think you can trust X Transpots. I think the sculpts are amazing on them. I mean, even Lock looks amazing, but it's a sack of shit.
I've still got my lock. I still got my lock.
Immense.
Because again, I'll transform lock, and if I have troubles with lock, and then obviously that's going to go back
so
to
now we're doing
Xboxes.
pickups and stuff we don't actually
This,
have.
I mean,
Alexis is taking it to the next level.
it was in the first 14. It was in the first. So obviously, I got it. Obviously, I showed the box in the show. Week after, I took out the box, and then I was like, oh shit. So I was lucky that I was in my first 14 days that I was able to send it back. And it's just, I'm disappointed because I really want to go in on these. I really like X Transport Venusaur over DX9. It's got so much different, like more articulation, it's a better overall. It's just an absolute fucking arse to why X Transport? Why the fuck are you so complicated? It's like
priests feel like this in a confession. Like
it feels like he's getting some stuff off his chest
you
right
ask
now. We should
MMC,
probably just let him
right?
rant.
You say MMC, touch your right ear. They
It's
do that,
pickups,
right?
remember,
You
Alexis.
say X Transport, touch your right ear. They'll
Still
do
pickups,
this.
Alexis.
They'll do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rich.
Is it my turn? I got
Yes, go on.
absolutely nothing this week. I got nothing.
But
And I
you've
got
got your good
nothing
looks.
last week either as well. You what, sorry?
you got your good looks though. You've kept it.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
it.
got good looks. I've got-
Which
I've
is
got
why you're
very
on the
And
show,
the
remember,
accent.
Rich?
The
Yeah,
accent as well.
well, not according to Jamie. I mean, I'm here for my presenting skills. Brad's here for the looks.
That bit would be cut out.
You better believe that it's getting cut out.
Now
You'll
nothing
suddenly
this week.
hear, you'll see your voice, see your lips moving, Jamie's voice come over and say, good looking. Banter.
The only thing I did pre-order is I pre-ordered all the Studio Series 86 figures that had been released for fear of missing out, and I also pre-ordered that Bandai model kit Mando figure that's been
Which
Which one, sorry?
is
Those man.
it's a Mandalorian Bandai model kit. Basically, you put together like a 6-inch scale figure. They are 6 inches.
They fit well with the Black Series. I've got a couple of Stormtroopers of the Bandai kits. Yeah. And
Do you know
like a C-3PO. They're good.
Going off track here, thinking about Mandalorian, it was like it made Star Wars good again because the last few films I didn't really like. Didn't like the characters. I thought the actors were poor. And now they made it look cool again. And then someone's saying we might not do another season or we might kill them off. And you're thinking, why? Why would you do something that's awesome?
Yeah.
I thought they were already doing a third season.
They are, yeah.
Yeah,
I love everything.
They're doing
I love everything
spin-offs,
Star
aren't they? They're doing
Wars.
this weird
But
Republican.
he's an anti-hero,
Oh,
isn't
Boba
he?
Fett as well. What's that?
He's an anti-hero, so he's like that.
Yeah.
And again, he was like that in Narcos, which you haven't seen Narcos. He's the same actor, man.
He's not
How do
really
you
an
get
anti-hero
Narcos into
because
every single
he's a good guy
film?
from the onset. He's not.
Yeah, he's not an anti-hero.
No,
he's
no,
not
no,
an
no, no, no,
anti-hero.
no, no.
You just like saying the
No.
word anti-hero.
He is
Not
the
having
DEA
it. You
like saying the word
However,
Anti-hero is the link
goes-
to Narcos.
there's a
Stop
blurred
with the
line.
Narcos.
The grey line of the law, the thin blue line of the law. He
It's a
crosses
fucking
it.
space republic. There's no fucking law. You've got evil empire and a republic. He doesn't
Paul,
have any law.
Paul's
No,
head would be
he's-
spinning right now.
He's the anti-hero.
Hiccups.
He's the anti-hero. Again, he's meant to be a killer, bounty
Order!
hunter, right? And he
Order!
goes to kill someone and takes on the kid.
Mr. Speaker.
So Andy,
did not
what
need to be
pickups
removed
have
from
you
the
got?
I haven't actually got any pickups, so not this week. Although fingers crossed, COVID letting us do it. We're hopefully going to Smith's tomorrow, so pickups may be oncoming. But I
Yeah,
did pick
step
up
inside.
something. Not that I picked up something from my mum and dad's house. So they got a bag down out of their attic, which is very dusty. This is said bag, really well protected, as you can see, and inside is some Transformers related gubbins, but it's not figures. So the idea I had was, I'll open the bag and we'll find out together what's inside. But now I don't know. Is it worth doing? Does
Depends
anyone...
who's in
do
there.
we? Do we?
It's not a body, thankfully. I keep
I
them in the
about
garage. I'm not stupid, right? This is not my first
It's a bit
rodeo.
heady. Oh my god.
Remember that prison I was talking about earlier?
Anyway, Paul's here. What's that, Paul?
He's joking.
I joke.
He's not
He's in the
joking.
garage. I just said.
Part of him is.
So I thought we'd just have a quick look. It might
The useful
not be
hat.
that exciting, but oh, there we go. Well, there you go. There's the first thing. Is we've got G1 double
Double
dealers.
dealer?
My original
Oh,
box
wow.
from my childhood
blimey.
G1 double dealer, which
Wow.
is a bit battered, but you know,
Yeah.
There you go.
see,
You-
one of
you
those
know
kids
it's
who didn't
empty,
cut out
right?
the points.
Just making sure he knows
It's not empty. It's got a bit of paper in it. Oh, and these instructions. So his instructions are in there. So there you
Wow.
go.
Do you still have the original bot, Andy? Your original dealer?
Yeah. My double dealer is the one I've had since. No, not all of my G1s. That's complete bollocks. At least half of my G1s are the original ones that I had from a kid, and then
Yeah.
the others are just ones I've picked up along the way. Because when I first got back into this collecting, G1 was what I got. Then there's a bag.
Because he was really well built. Dealer, I must admit, Dealer was probably one of the most well built ones. What's that?
Oh,
name?
he is. He's a chunky boy.
Montola.
Amantola, who are still open.
Home
God
dining.
knows when this is from.
I always thought
Oh
double
wow, is that
dealer was
China?
I always thought
Chinese?
double dealer was the anti-hero of the Decepticons.
He was very much like Narcos.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what this is. I won't get it all out because you can hear it, I'm sure. Hang on. There we go.
Does that my
Christmas
Tinder
tree.
profile?
It's all the
Computron.
bits for Computron.
Ooh.
I don't have all the bots for Computron, but I picked up all the bits at some point along the way. So I don't know where I got them from. I must have robbed someone.
Home dining.
If
That's it.
anybody ever did this, the stupidity of when the box
Tech
you
specs.
rip the tech specs off the box. There's loads in
Oh.
here actually.
Did you not have scissors
What's
when you were a young boy?
Can you imagine like, kids playing with their bots?
No.
Kids playing with their Transformers, and then wait there, who would win this? I have to check the tech specs.
I'm excited a little bit now. It's
Oh,
It's
that's
I think I
a
would
amazing.
catalogue from the last Transformer I got as a child. It's the what do we call them? G1.5? Do we call them the
Yeah.
European
Yeah.
figures? So that came with snare.
Is that Spinster?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
And no,
Oh,
you-
snare.
you
Oh,
got
it's,
the rubber
um,
one.
What's
Oh.
that?
Planes.
And then it's
Yeah.
got the
Predators, isn't it?
yeah, the Predator.
Predators.
And then you've got the sorry, I can't see because it's obviously covering up the camera, and I'm trying to hold it so you can see some of it. So he's got the comic strip that you had with it, which was in multiple languages, I believe. And then again,
The yellow Constructicons as
yellow
well.
yellow constructions
Yeah.
and the Rescue Force, which I don't know.
Well, wank.
Whenever I've seen them, I always thought they look terrible.
The
Wank
breast
force.
force in Japan.
Yeah.
Breast-
Yeah, that was Leo Kaiser, wasn't it? Was
It's
it
when
Leo
they-
Kaiser?
Weren't
It's
the
about
Japanese
fro-
versions really good? And for some reason, when they
Something
brought
like
them over
that.
here, they stripped them of a load of things. Or
But
am I
if you-
thinking of the
it,
motivators?
Chris McPhee did a recent one around sort of Japanese continuity beast wars and stuff, and he sort of talks about what happened over here, what happened over there, and again Japan sort of went, oh, that's pish. What would we do that? Make it cool.
G1
Recce
Retgar's
Gar.
instructions, the original
Oh.
ones for my Retgar.
Hey, you can use those for the new. You can use those for the Studio Series one.
It does
can't
look
you?
exactly the same. I said that
Oh.
last week. I've got some. Oh, lovely bit of squeeze play. Not sure what's going on with that art.
Oh, I've that figure.
Squeeze play instructions. So I've got that.
I got
I'll move on
from the last AA. Remember the last auto assembly? I was in the queue, and a guy asked me to look. Remember they had them tables where you could sell your box. Remember the fans?
Yeah.
Well, a guy was in the queue, and he had to go and get his ticket, and he said to me, "Oh, will you keep my space?" And he left a load of these boxes he was trying to sell, and he said, "Oh, have a look through them if you want anything." And I looked through. He come back, and I went, "Oh, I'll have a squeeze play." And he sold me for 15 quid complete. I was like, "Fucking hell."
Yeah. We get some
squeeze play for 15 quid.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of good shit, the original copy of Transformers the movie with that poster, that is still the best poster of the movie. I will fight anyone who says otherwise. That is the one I always remember from the
second best, but yes, lovely.
That's what I got. That's what I got. I've got the same VHS. That's what I got Cullen and Welcome to sign back in March.
I got a copy of this from RJ as a kind of little thank you gift a while back when we had our last meetup, I think it was, and he brought me a copy of this that he picked up from somewhere. And it still had the sticker on for like Woolworths or somewhere for when it
wicked.
Wow.
So that's up on my display shelves in
Andy, what's the name of the company at the bottom? On
Video Gems.
Video Gems, that's it. Remember their intro.
Do you know, I don't even have a video player anymore, so I can't actually watch it to see.
You'll have those shops which will switch into a DVD for you if you want.
Yeah, that's it. And then, oh god, it basically it's mostly
DVD.
Mostly stuff like this. So it's Darkwings. I won't go through all of it because it might take a little while. You know,
Paul will be having major masturbation right now.
No, I think
I try to reseal it with like masking tape. Yeah, because that works. But I still love that. Is still probably my favorite back of the box G1 artwork.
Is that Power Master Prime?
Power Master Prime.
Yeah.
I just wish you would
out
do Power Master Prime.
Landfill and
that's what most of the pretenders there, so that's quite cool.
I mean, if we got a G1 Power Master Prime, that might be it for me with Transformers collecting. I might then just have to walk away and just say, "Yep, it's not going to get better than this." And here's,
but it always does.
Possibly the oldest one in here, I think. Looking at it, which is Cyclonus, the original G1 packaging. So not Target Master. You know, this is the actual movie. And again, because I was that anal even as a kid, don't touch those points. I'm not even sending them off for something free. I'm gonna keep those there.
I cut all mine out. I've got all my points still in my mum's loft. I didn't know what to do with them. I had no idea.
He's got his instructions in there as well, in case you didn't miss that. So that's his actual instruction book.
I just kept sending them off and getting sent Infernos. That's all that happened.
Those fucking Infernos.
I want Hound, I want the
Got a whole room full of them.
Have an Inferno. I ended up with about 5 Infernos. That's all I kept sending them.
And then for a quick last thing, for a quick
fire
contrast,
starter,
I have got some other bits. Oh, there's a look at this. Look how battered. Oh my god. Ugh, that one hasn't lasted well. That's is it the Decepticon?
Oh, the Combat Force.
That's not bad.
Look at that thing.
It's all got a bit
at all.
Wow, you must
Bit
be
of
super
retro
careful, like getting it all open. Wow.
I tried to kind of save the boxes. I used to put them. It's so sad. I used to put them back in the boxes when I was finished.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I stored them in there. And if I'd ever got rid of the box for some reason, or rather, if my parents had ever got rid of a box for some reason, I'd like certain Transformers would share. You know, I put my Decepticons in the Decepticon boxes, and
Bloody hell.
I was fun as a kid.
Paul Farrelly right now will be giving you his bachelor's diploma for passing his university.
Oh,
this
one
boxes. For some reason has some packaging, but it's the classic
Grimlock.
Yes, it's Grimlock. So yes,
those are the ones I remember.
Yeah,
I was born in,
we had the Jazz. Gold box.
Were they released in 1990? The classics?
So it's about
like
89, 90.
I actually, my Grimlock that I've got is not this one, because I gave this one when I was about 14 to the little brother of a friend of mine who was getting into Transformers, and I gave him Grimlock. Oh, you'll love this one. This is one of the best ones. And if I could go back in time, I wouldn't like stop a world war or anything. Like I'd go back to when I was 14 and slap myself. What
are you doing?
And then this is the last one.
And that 14-year-old turned out to be the main designer for the Muppet Babies.
Oh, bit of Snarl.
My favourite Dinobot, and I've got that Snarl, but it's loose as hell now. It's the waist thing that it always goes, and a bit battered, as you can see. I think that might be Woolworths looking at it.
You should try and fix it up. It's easy enough to tighten some of those things.
Isn't there someone on the
Just get some
group
masking tape.
who was offering? I'm sure on one of the groups there was somebody saying that you can. It might have been one of the US groups that you can send him your old G1 boxes, and he was showing the work he's done, and he had testimonies from a few people as well, and he'll essentially smarten them up a little bit and get them looking a bit more like the original look and
the boxes.
The boxes, specifically the boxes,
Toy Polloi did a video on that the other day to do
Who
the
did,
Star
sorry?
Wars box. Toy Polloi, I don't know if you watch Toy Polloi.
Oh no, I don't know.
Toy Polloi's great, isn't he?
Yeah. He basically restored a, I think it was a Return of the Jedi 80 ST box.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool how he did it.
Oh, I know I said I wouldn't do anymore, but there you go.
Do you know in brief how he does it?
Oh yeah.
Everybody had crosshairs though. I mean,
Time and effort to paint
Yeah, I
it.
had
Or...
crosshairs as well.
Yeah.
again, nice. It's that artwork
Sorry, Rich.
again. Anyway,
The guy
right.
that does the boxes.
That's enough of me.
How the hell would you actually restore a box? It's like
The pictures were incredible though, because it showed like the before, like looking a bit like mine, battered, a bit ripped and torn, and there's not as much he can do for the rips and tears really, but like the colours, he managed to somehow get the colours back out of it again, and it just clean and like the cardboard crisp, and it was just amazing.
I think the reinforcing side of it so it can hold together again. Yeah. And Toy Polloi, when he did it, he ironed it flat, and then on certain black sections he painted it. Yeah. In with all the cracks and all that kind of stuff. It looks good, but to me, I think there's something about a warm box anyway. It looks quite cool.
Yeah. Find this like as you collect more, like you appreciate the worn shit more. Like I remember like getting all my G1 stuff out and thinking like, oh god, this is all fucked. But now I really love it. Like all my old mask stuff as well. I really love the fact that some of it's broken, some of it's worn. Like, because that's my childhood there. Fucking up this shit.
This is what we do it for, really. Yeah. It's bringing back memories. Just looking at it now.
You know what, Andy, though? You can't have a go at Alexis when he talks about something he bought the week before when you're showing boxes from when you bought 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's even worse. I didn't even buy them.
You're rich.
Someone bought them for me.
I'm going to bring that up every time I know.
The amount of weeks Alexis has done that, I'm owed this. I've still got some in the bank on this one, I tell you.
I think, counting the years back, I think
this week's was I got some IKEA shelving, and now I'm going to talk about fans' toys for 15 minutes.
Still flat.
So again, I'm all right.
Something I don't even have.
The Allen key is still in the box.
No. There you go. I won't get it all, but Abominus's bits are in there as well. It sounded a bit weird, but you know what I mean.
I bet they are.
Are you tempted to complete those? Now you've got. I know you said you haven't got the Computron.
I might do because I kind of forgotten that I had all the bits for him. I've got Scattershot, but he's the only.
Get 4 afterburners.
He's the only one I had. I haven't get loads of afterburners. That's all I need. No, I might do. It'd be interesting to have a look and see if I can get some. It's just finding them in half decent condition when they're not costing an arm and a leg. That's the only thing. Yeah. But I'd like to think those ones might be a bit cheaper.
Abominus bits and your Computron bits, you could put them together and create Abomination.
At that point, Jamie will cut in just the sound of the wind blowing.
Wants to see a Game Boy.
And somewhere in the distance.
Let's say banter.
A cat howling.
Right.
I might put in 10 laughter, actually, to be honest. I just go.
Anyway, sorry for that.
That's not my worst joke, by far.
We know.
Jamie, what have you got this week, mate?
This week I got Beast Wars issue 4. Transformers. Still not read the last 2 issues, I should say. So I like to save them up before I start to read them.
Jamie, can I ask, mate, are they old Beast Wars comics or are they new ones?
There's
new ones, are there?
Yeah,
I've come off IDW quite a few months ago. So
the story, the first issue which I read, which was larger than normal, I really liked the story, much better, faster moving than the Transformers comic, the main line. And the artwork is what I didn't like, but the artwork is good enough to tell the story, so it does its job.
Okay, yeah.
So I quite liked it for that. So that's why I've kept on, and I'm looking forward to reading it. It's just like I don't like reading the one comic because it's almost gone by the time like 2 minutes have passed. So I like to build them up, almost like it's like a little wee what you call annual.
I get you. Yeah.
Also, this week I got secondhand Stinger. Which is a notoriously bad studio cell Transformer, but I kind of wanted it just for the robot mode. So I'm not too interested in the transformation so much, and plus it's got clear plastic which should be painted, so it's notorious for breaking as well if you're not careful. And Christ, since I broke Cheetah after transforming them 24 times, I don't know if I could handle this, because I'll end up having to test them.
I'm just going to transform it 25 times.
Is that one of the Stinger one of the
number 19, and he's still
Age of Extinction, and it's
still broken.
The Transformium ones, weren't they? The ones
Is that one of the
transform?
Yeah, it's one Age of
okay.
Extinction and the Transformium, like Rich just said. It's when they didn't actually transform in the film, did they? Just kind of came apart.
Last time I had a second-hand Stinger, I had to make a few phone calls.
Only when you pee.
Are you going to get the
So I got
the Devastator as well, Jay? The Studio Series Devastator eventually. Because I know you're building up to things, but are you going to get the Studio Series Devastator to go along with your?
It's mince. It looks like a body.
So Stinger,
my mate Luffy's got that. It is a bit of it's fucking huge. It's a spectacle.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It doesn't look like a Transformer to me. It looks more like, I don't know, like I said, some abomination of like
abomination.
Yeah, it's just awful.
It is lovely.
It's almost like someone didn't really want to do the robot forms. It's like, you know what, this is close enough. We'll just stop here and we'll just smash them together and make them.
I think there was a lot of things given up for the combined.
All the movies.
Yeah.
That's everything.
But I got Dinobot. I love the face sculpt, so I thought, you know what, I'll get another Dinobot. I've already got 2. I had a scenario painted, where I'd be using this sort of like Jurassic Park scenario. I have a sort of figure, holding them back, but I can't be asked to do that just now. But I've got the box.
You can address it as Muldoon and put them in different corners of the room.
I was going to wait till I get the Grimlock one. So then I would have 4 of them.
I'm going to ask if I could come over and join you for a bit of dresser.
And I got Primus.
Said he was good looking. Bit of Primus.
Yes. Do you know what? I've got to say, I haven't transformed him yet. He's quite solid. I love using the cyber key to unlock stuff and move it. I've been testing around stuff like that. But I thought I'd put a challenge down. I'll transform this guy. I've already been taking some photos of him. He's brilliant. Very heavy as well. He is like Unicron, reminds me so much of Unicron. I just wonder if the mechanics are really the same, which I won't know until I try to transform him. But I'll transform him when Alexis transforms his Unicron.
Oh, that's a shame.
So he might never be transformed. But you know what? I really wanted this.
I have him more. I've sold him. I have him more.
So absolutely.
There you go.
That's it. Don't drop him, Jay, because the floorboards.
Do you have your Unicron now, Jay, in bot mode or planet mode?
I have my Unicron in robot mode.
Okay, because I was going to say,
yours is in planet mode right behind you.
No. I thought about buying one of those.
You've already talked enough about your transports stuff.
No, because it's a really cool size to be a.
No, enough, moon. Alexis. You've already had yours. Okay, you talk forever. We can time you. So I also got Ladybird books. My reading age, fantastic. So I've been getting these guys. Started to collect them, and now I have
the movie one. I love the movie one.
Me and Andy Wright in competition for the same book just now. I think a lot of us are actually in competition.
We're not in competition.
We are in competition.
I've got that squeeze play one that you need, Andy.
Yeah. Oh, Rich, have you? Don't give it to Jamie, for the love of God. I always thought you were good looking. I told you.
Rich, the right
Jamie didn't even want you on.
I think I'm missing one.
Yeah, well, everybody ends up in the same boat where you're like missing one, and that squeeze play one seems to be quite rare.
Yeah.
So I also got some G.I. Joe.
Oh, Lady Jane.
Yeah, Lady Jane, who comes with hat comes off. She's actually got a wig you can put on, so you can just have her hair, or you can go for the Justin Bieber look. She's quite good.
Not sorry.
I have no idea how that's the Justin Bieber look, but okay.
Well, if you ever look at Justin Bieber, it's a face you want to punch. Now,
I mean, I'm not denying it.
I'm not so.
I would say you had it first, but
about the accessories. The modern soldier having a spear, but if she wants a spear, she can have a spear. I'm not going to argue.
Is she worth the purchase, Jay? Because I'm on the fence about her.
I think she is, but you know what? It's I think it's because the accessories are actually quite good. They're getting better. They might not make sense, but you know, they're toy figures. They're not really meant to make sense. I think Flint is pretty awesome because he just reminds me of the original Flint. You know, the shotgun. You know, the hat. It just, you know, that was like my first. I think Snake Eyes was my first figure, and he was the second one I recall having. So to have this guy is awesome, and you can store his sort of like shotgun in the back there. You know, it's just he's got like the least accessories of them all. But I honestly think he looks the best. He's like one of my favorite figures.
He looks cool. I'm tempted to order him, but I might be venturing to Forbidden Planet tomorrow, so I might see if he's there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's Action Force, and to me, he's SAS. He's not the American version of the interpretation. He's not G.I. Joe. So it's kind of weird when you see all the updated, you know, animations and cartoons or the updated, you know, bibliographies, because to me it's all wrong. It's just the American stuff, and I'm still focused on the Action Force I remember as a kid.
Long guy. Who's the long guy? Which they always
Duke.
Duke. That's it, Duke.
Yeah. So I'm just still remembered on the original Action Force. And yeah, there's the sort of boxes. She's got 2 spears just in case she loses one because, you know, being it so small.
Oh, spare and spare.
That's always nice when they do stuff like that.
They can store in the backpack, can't they?
I mean, that's where I've got it just now. I'm not really sure where the second one would store, though. I guess it would hold in the hand. But that's the thing, they don't really come with instructions, so you've got a lot of like playing around to do.
I think the spears go on the knife, silver knives go on the end of the staff, I think.
Yeah, one of them does. And inside the backpack, you've got, you know, you can hold the knives inside the backpack.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's cool stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not sure where the other spear would actually go.
It's meant to go on the gun, I think. I think it loads onto the gun.
Oh, a harpoon gun. Yeah, that makes sense because the gun's quite hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's only got one sharpie bit though, isn't it? So it's almost like the other bit must be, that's kind of weird. Oh yeah, the other knife, that's where that can go. So that's I think that's my pickups done. Yep.
Cool.
Short and sweet.
And now it's time to go over to our friend Rohan, who this week we'll be talking about repaints.
Who's counting? Rohan. I nicked you a bit.
Rohan. Thanks for that introduction, guys. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Rohan's Corner. And this week, I'm taking a break from what I was doing last week, which was the best Transformers deaths on screen, to talk about something different. And this week, I'm talking about repaints.
More Starscream clones? How is that even possible?
Based on the unusually high level of Allspark energy emanating from Starscream, one can only assume that he somehow acquired several Allspark fragments and used their life-giving properties to bring the clones online.
Aren't you sorry you asked?
It's just non-stop repaints.
You second-rate clones aren't even worthy to breathe my exhaust fumes.
And we've all seen repaints in the long-term Transformers history, so many so that actually, if you counted up how many original Transformer molds we've had and how many are repaints, you'd probably find the numbers quite astonishing. I don't think anyone has ever done that calculation, but if you have, get in touch, let us know. And the reason I make this statement is because if you think about it, how many actual Transformers characters were repaints? And we go back to Generation 1, and actually there were quite a lot of repaints in Generation 1. It's just the way you think about those characters.
Oh, haven't you figured it out yet? He's a pathological liar. Each of us clones represents one aspect of your personality. He's a coward, he's an egomaniac, he's a suck-up, he's a liar!
I tend to think about original characters like the Seekers as being the main cases of repaints, but actually there are so many of them. Like, I've got a couple of examples here. Thrust is one of our Coneheads, who's technically a repaint of the Seekers with a little bit of retooling, not really much, from the original series because they just flip the head up really and change the wings slightly. And technically we got 6 characters in that line from that toy, and then actually we got a load more toys out of that, because then did G2 repaints and so on and so forth, other color schemes. So how many actual toys did they make out of that one mold? Loads. And here's another example, the Datsun brothers, obviously 3 of them in Generation 1, and then they've spawned their own little repaints over the years. And I've got another one here from Season 3, Runabout and Runamuck, obviously were repaints of one another. I mean, they are just everywhere. Here's another one, Red Alert. Here's another one, Ramjet. And some of those characters, I classify them as core. They're very important to me, so I wouldn't ever, if they did a redistribution of, for example, the Coneheads, I have to get all 3 of the original Coneheads, because they were, in my mind, distinct characters, distinct color schemes that I affiliate with and I have a real attachment to, and they're not repaints to me, they're individual characters. Whereas something like the G2 Sandstorm character or toy is just a repaint to me because I've got no affiliation to it. However, I know that there's a lot of guys out there who do really enjoy those toys.
But it's completely like you to hide behind an army of cheap knockoff.
And they do have a true affiliation to it. And maybe some of that is from comics, or maybe it's from other kind of lore, or maybe it's from, you know, movies, or who knows. But there's so much out there. So really my question to you, all of you this week, is repaints. How do you feel about repaints? And how do you feel about having to pay through the nose for specific ones, because Hasbro are taking the mickey and actually releasing them so exclusively that it's hard to get hold of particular ones, and still is hard to get hold of particular ones. Throughout the Unicron trilogies, they went a bit mad with these repaints, having several different copies of the molds being recolored and so on and so forth in different shades. And then they reused them in the movies as well. They're not even characters from the movies. They just slap a new color scheme on it, sometimes even slap a brand new name on it. And it's led to even third parties doing the same thing with repaints of the same characters for no reason sometimes. Sometimes it's for good reason. I mean, I've got, for example, DevCon, based off of the MFT Scourge mold, you know, Barricade, how many repaints did we get of that guy, so on and so forth. They're just everywhere. And we've had repaints from the smallest of figures, like your Generation 1 Bumblebee being recolored in multiple different colors and sold out in the Minibot line, all the way up to the largest scale characters like the Black Zarak or Fortress Maximus, Metroplex being recolored into Metro Titan, so on and so forth. And even so to speak with the third-party toys these days, you see that Studio Cell have reissued, as you saw on the show last week, their Unicron toy in a new color scheme, and now we're going to get it in a slightly grayer shade. And it's already made me think, shall I sell my original one, which I've already sold once, to get a new one, because actually I prefer that color scheme. It's only a slight difference, but it makes all the difference in your mind. On a separate note, one of our esteemed community members and an old friend of mine, Big Phil Donaldson, has had some medical news has come out, and we'd just like to all wish him from Transformers the Show a big good luck, and hope you get well soon as part of that, just to ensure that the community all stays together, and wish him well. And with that, I will end Rohan's Corner for another week. Thank you for joining me. Back to the studio.
Hey boys, we've been rumbled. Well, let's bounce.
Thanks, Rohan, and get well soon, Phil. I know you're going through a tough time at the moment, but much love here from everyone at Transformers the Show. Get well soon, mate. Okay, and now on to this week's discussion, which is no matter the cost. So this is all to do with the fear of missing out. Are you buying everything in the line, or are you starting to cherry pick, or are your habits changing? So over to you, lads.
Well,
well, thank you for throwing it our way. It's a serious issue. Fear of missing out. It's definitely a real thing, and it's something that a lot of people, I think, when you see people moaning about missing out on pre-orders, and people when the pre-orders are released at a time when people are at work and they can't get to them, and I've had a moan about that at times, and missed out on pre-orders with certain companies, and it's worked out because it gives you a chance to find other companies. But I've reached a point in my collecting where I am looking now and thinking, whereas in the past I'd just order the whole wave of whatever it was, regardless of who it was or characters, now I'm much more kind of like, right, do I really want this, or is this going to be something where in a couple of months down the line I'm going to decide, actually, I'm just going to sell it on or put it away or whatever. So the fear of missing out is real, definitely. But you do have a choice. I think some people, though, maybe a little bit OCD, they've got to get it, they've got to have it, that fear is there. It's real.
Completists. Where's it start from, though?
Do we have a choice, though? Because you say we have a choice, but then when you start to make a decision, you start to make, if I miss out now, later, I might not get the option of getting it, and it might even cost me much more, even maybe twice the cost.
Late tax.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really that happens.
That starts to take away that sort of free independent choice where I'll leave it just now, maybe I'll treat it as a reward, or I'll get it a bit later when I can. Suddenly that's been moved away from you. And it's because we are people, and we know how people work, advertisers have known it for decades. I just don't think it's fair to say, well, you've got that choice. Their whole entire game is about making that choice very difficult and almost taking it away from us.
They do say that the beauty of pre-orders is you can cancel them. However, I don't know about you gentlemen, I know when I pre-order something, and I did it, so I pre-ordered through Hasbro Pulse a couple of figures, and I've cancelled them recently, and I've pre-ordered through Collectible Kingdoms and Collector's Den, and I it took a lot of effort to do that little, even that, right? And again, I wasn't cancelling, but if I was cancelling, it took a lot of effort, because again, am I actually want to cancel? Am I going to? Where does it start from? Where does that hype build?
Yeah.
Where is it? Does it?
I think it's building from the latest culture, I think, because whereas before there used to be some figures released and we all used to run around to Toys R Us or whatever it might be, or have a look around it and go on an actual hunt. And it's great that Compare and In Demand and all these sites at the time were there to actually help us with our habits, I suppose, and source these. But it's a different place now. You have to pre-order something 6 months in advance, and you might own just because you might want it, not because you actually do. And I think that's probably what's driving the current culture. But when it comes to being a completionist, and I've been guilty of that in the past, I think that stems from the childhood hunting and wanting all of a certain line and everything like that, and being scared of, if you don't see that figure, if you don't buy that figure in that shop in that Woolworths, you might never see it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess that's where it stems from for me, anyway.
Just remember that feeling when you walked into a shop and like every shop had the same toys, and then occasionally, or just once, you might have seen an Omega Supreme, an Overlord, or something, something which wasn't on, the occasion which had the rarer item because it knew about the item. It's like, oh, I want that one. There it is.
Yeah,
and it's almost that. And I guess when you see something, when you see it again on a pre-order, and this is it, like we've been so almost, not even drip fed, right? This stuff over years, right? And let's face it, a lot of the stuff we've had over years has been a sack of shit, right? And we've lapped it up because we so at bated breath want our holy grail, that when our holy grail comes round, not once but twice but 3 times, it's like I'm in. And then are you just riding that wave because of the first buy? Like, Wolf of Cybertron, the Sideswipe was a really good mold, and let's face it, there was a few of them which were half baked. So, but did you buy them? Fuck, you did, yeah. And again, it's the same with, I'll be up, hand on heart. Same with third party. The things that have been released, I bought it. I look at it and going, oh.
Do you ever find like that chase is the fun part of it?
Yeah, the chase is
the best. But like I completed like Show Galaxy Force maybe like six years ago. I lost interest in it altogether. So when we moved house, I picked a couple up that I was kind of like, and just flogged them like straight without even thinking about it. And now I'm like, oh, welcome to Galaxy Force again. This is what I liked about it, not having all the Galaxy Force and wanting all the Galaxy Force. It's like, oh fuck. But I think like a turning point for me with like, I used to buy everything, like Andy was saying, just fucking pick up everything in the line. They all arrive at once and you're like, fuck, toys. But then as soon as you start letting go of your figures and like you have your first clear out, then you're like, well, you start questioning yourself, what do I really want this whole line? Maybe I'll wait for these few to see if I can get them at a better price. And am I really missing out on something that I'm not going to buy now, but I might find cheaper down the line? If it's more expensive down the line and I really want it, is it going to be like out of my price range, or am I just going to like Thrust? So Thrust was like, I know I speak for me, we all got Thrust. Yeah, we've all got Thrust. Like, how many who waited a bit was just like, oh, I'll wait this out for like maybe a month or two, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months.
Not that I had a choice because I missed out in the pre-orders.
Well, yeah, it's like, what's going to happen here? So then eventually when it came up for like 70 quid because it had been released in America, it was like, I know, it speaks for me and Rich. Oh yeah, I'll pay it. All right, I'll pay it. And I haven't thought about Thrust since. Really, he's just in the cabinet over there. No one's going to come in and check off my Thrust. But like now he's down to 50 quid on eBay. It's like, am I gutted I didn't wait? Not really, because it's not really a massive deal. But you know, it's a case of like, well, if I didn't get him then, he might not have been available like 2 months later for cheap. He might have just been disappeared altogether.
Completely fair gone. As well, Brad. If you hadn't got Thrust, we wouldn't have had that wonderful moment with Rich in your videos. And God shone upon us.
It would have been lost like tears in the rain.
That's worth the extra money alone.
Exactly. But yeah, it is running that. Sometimes it is a bit like running that risk. We can't go out and. I think if I went to a shop, I'm much more inclined to buy a toy in a shop still than buying it offline or pre-ordering it.
You're like me, Brad. We obviously all pre-ordered quite stuff from In Demand Toys. You know, I got pre-ordered Grimlock, Scourge, and Jazz, Hot Rod as well. And I think because we were waiting so long to get it, we ended up buying them from other sources, but we didn't want to cancel it in demand.
Yeah, because it's not really fair, is it?
It's not fair on them, so we paid double. You know, I really invite people to be asking these questions.
Absolutely not.
Representative of the community with my 3 Dinobots because I just thought, why not?
I think that's a really good point, because me and Dave Shotton did that Wazix video where we were just having a bit of a joke and a race about who gets them first. And Dave's like one of my best mates. He's a top bloke. But that genuinely ruined his experience of those figures.
He was gutted,
because, like, literally, he ordered from random shops, and literally, I had virtually all the figures before he got one. And it actually, I suppose that's when it's turned on its head. You pre-order these things so you don't have the fear of missing out. But sometimes when you kept waiting and waiting and waiting for them, I know loads of people have been waiting for stuff like you.
Sandstorm's like freaking disappeared.
June apparently, according to Cabao. But it kind of takes the shine off it. So not only are you waiting for 6 months for these things, everyone else gets them, and by the time you get them, like, you're sick of hearing about them.
Yeah, definitely.
So and I know that really affected.
Don't start.
Dave.
I ordered from Fans Toys from Omega Lock. I've ordered the triple pack of Fans Toys, Mind Wipe, Skull Cruncher, and Cyclonus, and they were a triple pack. So back in the day, and they were £270 for the triple pack, and they sent them out as they came out. I got Dracula, which now doubles in price, Cyclonus, which triples in price, and Skull Cruncher, and that was 3 years ago. I still haven't got that pre-order.
Fuck.
And then have I cancelled my pre-order? No, because I know if I cancel it, then Skull Cruncher when it comes out brand new, will probably be twice it. Probably 150.
They're waiting until you cancel that order. They're going
to invest.
He's the last one holding on. Once he's cancelled it, we can sell this for a big profit, guys.
This is where Pulse is good, because Pulse will split your orders. Because I ordered Bo-Katan and Darth Maul from the Black Series line, and they sent me Bo-Katan, but not Darth Maul. Just like, oh, you've split the order. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting to wait months for them.
You've seduced me, Pulse.
Place it on my lips.
This Bo-Katan, you were truly spoiling us.
Sorry, not a Mega. Sorry, apologies. Not wasn't a Mega. It was TFS Express. Apologies. It was before they split. Apologies. So I get correct. Apologies.
Some other retailers, I think they're going to have to do what Pulse do and split their orders. They're not punish people for, booking the orders together. Because there's some people who order something, 10 things or 8 things. A lot of postage, because posted individually and 5 things, so you're paying 5. That's like 25 quid. But and then they're held back until the last thing shows up, and it could be 6 months, and you're going, dear God, I know a lot of these places are good. Actually, if you contact them, they'll work an arrangement out. They actually are very good like that. But I think they've got to make it easier to do, like Pulse does.
I was going to say, are we going to see Pulse subscription style stuff from the smaller retailers? Because the free postage thing seems to be giving Pulse the flexibility to post things out. So we pay for a subscription. They will post out what you buy.
It's interesting though, because some of the price, even though you've got that free postage on there, and I have ordered a fair bit of stuff from Pulse. Example, Flint. I've been looking at buying Flint, the figure that Jamie got this week, and I was tempted to get him from Pulse, but he's on pre-order. But it's the same price on Comics and Cocktails, and that includes free postage as well. So that's there's 2 things that I tend to look for. Number one is what the price of the actual figure, and can I get free postage in there? And I think maybe you're right, Brad. I think something has to change, and I think another thing that needs to be considered is about putting the deposit down. If you think about it, with Hasbro Pulse, you don't put a deposit down, do you? Yeah. You just pre-order it and pre-order your card. And Star Action Figures, I know, offer something very, very similar. I've used them a good few times. They're a great company. But a lot of the other retailers, the smaller ones, will offer this pre-order. And I think that might be another thing driving people towards Pulse and pre-ordering from there, is they haven't got to pay anything there, even if it's £1 or so more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I worry about the Brad and Jamie scenario, because you've got people like me and Brad, and we'll pre-order something. And
is that the new
we won't cancel?
That's what happens in prison, that is.
We won't cancel because
that make Jamie Angelina.
We feel indebted to In Demand and like Kapow, because these little guys have fed our addiction. And it's very important to keep these guys going, because if they disappear, suddenly Pulse commands everything, and then suddenly we might even have less choice. And the thing I worry about is when it comes to this idea, is like, I feel like with Hasbro Pulse, because it's such a big company, they don't care if we cancel our pre-orders, because they'll still get rid of that stock in another way, even through another retailer. So it's okay, but it really affects the smaller retailers. So they having to put on a deposit, it's almost like security for them. Because the trouble is some people out there who are not going to care. They will just cancel the orders with In Demand and go for where they can get it sooner, or your Kapows, or your Collector's Den, or or Collectible Kingdoms. They will just cancel and switch, and it'll cause hassle to these smaller retailers and put pressure onto them. So they've got to come up with a way to try to survive better, which is like a negative feedback loop in a way, because
I completely agree.
Because it then puts more pressure on people to maybe just go with Hasbro Pulse in the first place, because they've had to deal with the odd few people who just. And it's not like they're cancelling the 1-2 things. It's like it's massive amounts of pre-orders have cancelled. And really put a lot of pressure on these companies.
Yeah, the genuine reason behind that though is because when the small retailers have to buy the stock in and secure the stock, so that your deposit is saying well we'll buy, because they have to buy the stock from Hasbro. They don't get free credit from Hasbro. They pay for that from Hasbro. So your deposit goes towards what they're paying. They're having to front it up front, and they'll collect the money off you later at a later date. So if you back out of it, they still have to pay for that and shift that stock. It becomes their stock. So you backing out of it, and we're not saying if you have to back out of it, that's fine, not an issue. It's your choice to back out. But I'm saying, but they have to secure that stock, so that unless they get enough pre-orders, they can't secure that. And it's not. And again, there's a point where it becomes profitable based on their margins, based on their business, and that varies store to store as well. And again, just to add to Jamie's point as well around the bigger, smaller retailers, I ordered some items from Zavvi, some Thundercats items, which I couldn't order from anywhere else. I've looked high and low, but they had them, and I've ordered them. I just got a couple of emails from Zavvi this week. Oh yeah, delay till September. Thanks. I was like, oh, and what can I do, right? They're not anywhere else. they weren't anywhere else 3 months ago. Fuck me, they'll be even less scarce now, right? I guarantee if I cancel, I won't get those orders anywhere else. So what do? I have to hold on. So you're rocking hard place, and so are our smaller retailers, unfortunately.
You know what's really interesting about this conversation is we started off talking about like the fear of missing out and all of those things, and we've naturally gone on to talking about pre-orders and all of this kind of stuff and missing the chase. And do you think that what we do now is there is that fear of missing out? We do pre-order wherever we choose to pre-order, whether it's loyalty or whether it's still available on a certain website. But then do you feel once we've got that fear of missing out is ticked off, and then we almost go after that chase again? Like, okay, now who gets it in first? Like, do you know what I mean? 'Cause I did that with the Studio Series stuff. Is that Rohan's on Pulse? And like I'd already ordered it from Comics and Cocktails, and it didn't come until 4 weeks later. A bit like you were saying about a load of your stuff coming today from In Demand. We almost, even though we've got that fear of missing out ticked off, we then want to chase and get.
It's silly, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
it's
ridiculous.
mad when you think about
mental. It's like it's almost like we know we can shift on the stuff we get.
Yeah.
So we're going to play our cards in multiple vaginas,
multiple cheeses.
I was considering before you, so the reason I've shifted my room out is I'm trying to downsize and get rid of stuff that I don't want. And I was almost considering selling all my MP stuff just to collect some Legends and Chug, potentially.
Yeah.
Because I haven't got a complete collection, right? And there's not all of it's out there. And again, I haven't got all the bots. So I get the chase again, right? It's a cheaper chase than it was before, right? But you still get the fun, right? As you said, Rich, it's the fun.
Do you feel, because you've been buying a load of Chug stuff. I mean, you've started buying almost as much Chug stuff as Jamie does.
It's all box still.
It is. And you keep telling us that if this is going to be for your kids, but like that's going to be a shit ton of things for your kids. And I feel like you're saying it's for your kids, but there's a little part of you that got on the Chug train, choo-choo, and got on board all the hype that we.
I think what Andy's trying to ask you is, will you adopt him and can he have it?
If you're just going to give your toys away, can you just give them a feed? Your kids will just break them. Give them a feed.
They won't love them, Alexis. They
won't love them like I love them.
I held back because I saw my eldest one almost break a Transformer, like not quite deliberately. I just don't know. And it's just like. And again, these bots are worth money, so I'm like, and I just held back. So, and I bought them because I wanted to bond with them. It's almost like, so I bought the Hex Bugs, and I thought the Hex Bugs were a cool way because I get to build it with them, and they get to play with it, and then they, zip lines and all sorts of things like that. It's quite cool, right? But it's a cool way of me being able to connect with my children, and I thought the Transformers were a way as well, but they haven't quite gravitated towards it. So it might be the end of the day, right? After a year of trying to force Transformers to them, that have to do it to someone else's child. So
yeah, well,
if you've got a child that wants Transformers,
hopefully not some random child.
Not some random person. Don't just go to the park because that's going to get in trouble, Alexis. I've learned from many years of having kids that you can't force them to necessarily like.
Well, I tell you what, if these two children of mine don't want Transformers, I will force my wife to have a third child.
We'll keep going until we get it right.
Until they like it. Kids don't. I mean, I asked my class a couple of weeks ago, like, what do you think of toys? And I was quite surprised that they came back at me with like, oh, we love toys. I was expecting them to like just be apps and games because that's all they talk about. But then they kind of went into we had this whole class conversation about like, no, we love toys. I had this toy when I was younger. Like I had this toy. Some of them even had Transformers. It wasn't all about like games and apps. And I was really surprised because as far as I was concerned, kids don't give a fuck about toys when I'm a year 6 teacher, so they're like 10, 11. Yeah. As soon as they reach like that 8, 9 kind of phase, they stop being into toys. But no, they love toys. And I was shocked because toys obviously, I mean, it's publicized everywhere that toys are generally just kind of like phasing out. and it's us who buy toys.
I don't believe that though, because you know, as a teacher as well, you know, someone's, you know, I've seen kids, especially they migrate usually to like your Warhammers, and they start becoming painting and they're building stuff up, and they love Lego, and you know, and it's not about all these different learning styles. That can get stuff, that's stupid, but what it is about, you know, developing using your hands. You know, people just like building stuff. It doesn't matter if they're good at it or not. And I can see toys always being out there. It's almost like the people who come up with that are like a small few people in social media who'll say that without any actual research. I mean, you give kids some stones, they'll be playing with stones. They'll be using stones and using their imagination to make something. And I just never buy that type of research, because it's the type of comment is said there with one research paper which has no actual real evidence, and it's all lived experience, or and I can't even pronounce it, anecdotal evidence, you know. So
I hope that's the case. And one of those things that just goes out of control and everyone kind of spots it. But yeah, I was surprised that they still love their toys and they still have loads of toys. I was like, really? Because all you talk about is like games and shit. But no, they still had rooms full of toys, and like I can't remember what was popular, like a lot of like plush stuff. They like, but they also like the stuff that was in. There was fidget spinners, like, and they had action figures, like the Fortnite action figures. That Andy showed of, like loads of them had the Fortnite stuff, and stuff like that. It was cool. I was just like, so I showed them pictures of my toys as well, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we recognize that from Transformers." It's like, "Oh, you've seen Transformers?" And they were like, "Yeah," because it's kind of like, it's sort of before them Transformers now. This, but yeah, we just went into all that kind of stuff, and some of them like retro games, and I was like, "Oh, what?" I've got this autistic boy in my class who was obsessed with Mario Party, so me and him struck off a conversation about like GameCube, because obviously I love GameCube. And their knowledge base really surprised me, and that was really reassuring. With like, I thought toys were kind of dying out.
One thing that annoyed me is I've got the remote control Mario Kart thing, you know, the thing you got with your Switch. You need a massive house for that. I mean, Jesus Christ.
You have to build a big track, don't you?
I know. Oh, man.
I think the thing is with all of this, and like, because I've noticed with my son, and like you obviously want him to be interested in Transformers, don't you, to share the passion, but I realised that, you know what, no one got me into Transformers. It was something that I fell in love with, and seeing him, it's Pokemon with him.
Plus, you could also adopt him and replace him for someone else.
Same. Pokemon, big time.
Options.
Yeah.
Always good.
How was your adoption agency say? I want someone who likes robots. Once it transforms.
Yeah, same. So my boy doesn't have a bedtime story. He's got the Pokemon encyclopedia, and we agree that I read him 10 whole pages every night. It's like bedtime story or Pokemon.
That explains why
my son does the same. Except when we pick through and we stop. So.
That's fantastic.
He loves it. He's got the plush toys, and the other one again. So Sam is a better narrator. She reads like the Christmasaurus or like stories, and every time I try and read a story, they go, "No, Dave. If it's a story which needs voices, I can do the story. Otherwise, it's like, Dad, can you read the Pokemon book? Really?"
This is a lovely window into your family life, Alexis.
Yeah,
I do feel we've gone very off topic.
Completely.
We're just
Brilliant.
Okay, so tell me, let's go around the room. When has your fear of missing out actually become true? So,
because I was looking forward to getting this. Me and Andy,
how much, Jay?
We discussed this about last year, and then we said, "Oh, you could pick that up at TFN, maybe for about 40, 50 quid." You know, when the fucking pandemic hit, and then suddenly I kept seeing the mince version of it. You know, the one with the shagadelic colours, which I didn't really like that much.
Yeah, the Toys R Us exclusive one.
So I started seeing this, and so when I saw this for £50 posted, you know, I just jumped at it and got it. You know, because I just did not want to take the chance of waiting until TF. Who knows what was going to apparently escape from some other lab.
Yeah,
you know, next year. So I'm not going to do that, and you know, so I had to go and get it.
It looks.
And I would say to Milan, I'm cutting back in Transformers spending. I'm not going to do this, but I'm just getting this figure. How much for? Oh, you don't really want to know.
It looks so much like Jay, like the moon from the like the Bumblebee moon. Like
That's
Bumblebee's
no
like
moon. Yeah. That's the Primus.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But you can have
cities
it
on it, Alexis. It's got freaking cities on it.
No, but you can have it in the drawers.
And guns.
You can have it in the drawers.
You know, if you ever transform that, Alexis,
if I had
you could have him
Unicron,
holding
I'd know
it.
about that, but I don't.
Yeah,
so
anyway.
Andy, what about you? Have you got an example of your biggest fear of missing out?
For me, my biggest fear of missing out probably was something like it'll sound stupid, but it was like Earthrise Double Dealer, because I've waited so long for what in my mind was a decent version of that character, and I actually got it. And that's the weird thing. It's almost like since that, there's certain toys that I've got, and then I start to look at the characters I really wanted and start to think to myself, well, actually, I'm quite happy with that now. And then I think that's part of the reason why I'm not as desperate to try and get everything anymore, because I've started to think, well, yeah, I feel almost content as a collector. I can literally look at some of those figures that everybody else is like, oh, I've got to get them, you know, they're not anywhere, and be like, yeah, I'm okay. If I get it, great. If I don't, just one of them things, you know, I'll live. It won't kill me. And I don't know if that's maturity, or if it's just like a general change in mindset, or it's just that I'm skinned. Whatever it is, it's you know, it just leaves you in that position.
Yeah, I was having a breakdown over first. I honestly thought.
I think isn't that the difference though, Jay? Because like I think you're in terms of a collector, you're still in like the toddler stage, because you only really got back into Transformers a few years ago, didn't you? Whereas I've been collecting Transformers for like 16 years.
But see, when
like,
first
reach a
came
point
out,
where you don't have to buy everything.
First came out, I went, I'm not doing the pre-order game. Stuff this. I'm my own man. I'm not going to be staying up till God knows trying to get it when it's available in Hong Kong or something like that. So I did nothing for 2 weeks. Then I realised I was screwed and I couldn't get first. That's when I started to have the breakdown. For the 2 weeks up to that, I was proud of myself. Pre-orders didn't get me. I'm cool. You know, I'm my own person. Then, you know, I suddenly hit a wall, and then suddenly it was like, oh God, I'm missing out first. You know, I can't take this.
What was the turning point in that? What made you suddenly go? Is it because of social media you saw it? Or was it just because in your head, or you saw your collection?
£70 and thinking that was a good price, and I was thinking, my God, you know, they're getting this stock imported over. It's not really that hard to import stuff over. You know, it's hard for individuals to do it, but not for a business. So when individuals were taking lots of stock over, I was thinking, business, you should be able to do that. And I know that because of my cousins. We've got bike shops, 3 bike shops. So we're getting rally parts sent over from fucking Taiwan and Canada and stuff like that. And it's coming over as cheap as mince, you know, literally. So somehow Transformers seem to have this inflated price because it feels like they're forced to go and buy it from other retailers, you know, who are marking it up. So there's like some chain and there's middlemen making a massive profit, and the retailers are doing their best, I feel like, in the UK, not trying to pass that price on. And I think they do mostly a very good job, because when I looked at the European versions, especially when it comes to G.I. Joe, the UK retailers keep that price down low. And I look at the European versions of like Kapow and In Demand and stuff like that, they were hiking the prices up because they knew they could get the money for it.
That's because in the EU, mate, got to pay extra tax.
What about you, Brad? What's your best example of the?
I think like it goes back a couple of years when I first started selling stuff. Like I used to sell G1 stuff on eBay. I used to buy lots in and then sell them when eBay was actually decent for doing that kind of stuff. And it was the kind of the feeling of just letting stuff go was okay. And when I started to like do that with my own collection, it was when I was originally starting to come towards moving out of my parents' house again. Like it was the early 30s, like good 8-9 years ago. The feeling of letting stuff go was actually okay. And I didn't miss it. And there was only like when I'd sell like 10, 15, 20 figures, I'd only miss 1 or 2. And I could buy those back quite easily. So going back to like the Generations 30th line, that was a point where I was just like, I can give it to me, buy fucking everything in. I want everything. And I remember getting like the Scourge, Bumblebee, Stealth Bomber, Megatron, and there was one more in that line, Trail Cutter lot. And those were all really good figures. And I remember just thinking like, I've just opened 4 figures in a row and I've just fucking knackered myself out. And that was the turning point where like, I really need to start like selling shit off and cherry picking these motherfuckers. Cause like, it's too much money. I'm not enjoying them. I'm buying them. I'm chucking them in a box in the cupboard because I've got no room in my room. And then when you get like, the first thing I did was started selling off multiples of molds. I used to get quite a lot of money back in, and I put that into something else and make money back. And it was just like, that was far more satisfying than having figures sitting in the cupboard doing nothing. And then I moved on to Energon stuff, which was like my big thing, Galaxy Force stuff, which was like my big thing. Selling those off and just having the extra room and not having to move so much stuff was. There was one point where I was thinking the thought of moving was just dreadful, because I think, like, how am I going to move all this stuff? And when I eventually came to move, because I'd sold so much stuff, I had a bunch of money which enabled me to move, and I didn't have so much stuff to move into a flat when I first moved out of my parents. When I moved out again of my parents' house, it was more to do with like the lifestyle change and how easy that would be for me. And since then, I've been a bit more like cherry picking with what I've got. Like I've said, I've done any other year. Like if this was like 6 years ago, I'd have bought all the Beast Wars figures easily. They'd be at my bum right now.
But like, I just put these on the shelf, but you follow your dream.
There's different display options, Jamie. Surely you know that.
I was it takes a real man to do that.
Yeah. Wait for that photography on Twitter.
I was going to ask, the display cabinet you got over your right shoulder. I love your cabinet. I love the lighting you've got there as well.
You mean my cabinet here?
Andy's cabinet.
Do you ever do you refresh that quite regularly, or how would you decide what goes into that?
Yeah. So the most recent thing I pulled out of that is the old Titans Return movie stuff and put the studio series in. The Star Wars figures. I haven't actually started selling Black Series stuff off yet, but there's a lot of Star Wars Black Series and Fig Arts up and down that I fill up. Skylink's went in recently. I pulled some stuff out. There's a shelf in there with some there's like Henke hot shots in there with like skids from the Generations line. A few favorite of those. I'll rotate that all the time. And there's stuff over
I like
here
skids
as well.
from Generation, but he's got really bad legs. You know, it's like really
I think his arms are shit.
You know, it's like a Scottish goalkeeper. Everything's like falling apart on him. You know.
Loads of fucking Vaseline smeared on his eyebrows as well. I'll rotate everything.
Yeah.
But I don't like having I've got a cupboard back here with just full of stuff as well, but I don't like having too much stuff anymore, which is why I'll cherry pick and I'll buy things like intermittently rather than just like loads of fucking once. Which is why I'm glad I kind of cherry picked the studio series, even though like my big order's coming in next week. Finally, it's kind of a case of, well, I'm glad I bought them bit by bit while I waited for that order to come in, and now I'm not so bothered about selling that order off. I can make the money back; it's not a problem. But I'm not so precious about having.
Do you have other cabinets in your room?
Yeah.
So
there's two Gundam cabinets there, which are Gundam's a whole different thing.
In a sense, I mean, other ones that you change, they all change around. I mean,
the Gundam not so much, but like
if you go into Japanese pubs, you're going to see lots of Gundam figures in lots of Japanese pubs.
I'd just get naked if I saw that.
You know, it's just like amazing.
I just love Gundam. Gundam you have to cherry pick because there is no way you can have every Gundam. Just like you can't have every cat, can't hug every cat. But like this over here, this is all a mix of like Transformers and Star Wars and all the new kind of like Earthrise stuff and Siege stuff is up there. And I'll start Siege stuff as stuff came out like Earthrise Primer sold off Siege Primer, sold off Siege Prowl. I don't care about doing that anymore. That's if I've got a better version of a figure like Siege Ironhide as well, all that went because I was just like, I don't need two of this shit. I don't need two of this mold. And I find that's the first kind of step to go as you decide like, I don't get precious about it. It's just like, if it can make me money and if I don't need it and I want the space more, it can go. I used to have like a 700-800 figure Transformer collection, but it was all in Tupperware containers and boxes and shit. And it just took up room. And I offed it, and now I've just got the stuff I want. Probably a bit more, but that's okay.
I've got some stuff I should sell, but I always feel a bit bad because I've transformed it a good couple of dozen times, and they're not perfect. You know, they'll have scratches on them, or there'll be something I've done stupid.
That's okay.
A dent, you know.
That's
I even put a gel in one just to see what would happen, and I went, "Oh, that wasn't good." Well,
how often do you open a new figure and there's a problem with it? Do you know what I mean? It's, as long as it,
Like Jane, you've got multiples of figures. Like, do you see yourself down the line somewhere? Like, say, so how many Cheetos have you got? I'm not. Like,
I've got 3 Cheetos just now.
Yeah, so down the line, would you be?
But they travel in
like
packs.
maybe...
These animals, you've got.
Would you be like down the line if you ever needed to? Would you, or if you ever needed a space? Would you be like, well, I'll offer a few of them?
Maybe one of them. One.
Like, I mean, I seriously, I reached that. I've been, I think, probably collecting this at about the same time as Andy, like maybe 16, 17 years, something like that. And it got to a point where I was like, I
might be a virgin collector, but I had a complete G1, well, almost UK complete G1 collection and Dreamcast collection and He-Man.
Dreamcast, man.
And I had in immaculate condition all the boxes, and my mum just threw them all out.
Yeah.
You know, so I lost everything.
I mean, you can only feel like you feel at the time. So if you keep on feeling like you want to keep those, like, do it. Like, I got to a point where I was just like, I'm going to offer some of this, but I'm going to keep the stuff I really like. And there's some of it, like, I definitely regret selling. Definitely. Like, Stealth Bomber Megatron I sold. And Ed...
Was that the G2 version of Stealth Bomber?
No, the Generations 30th version. The deluxe figure. I loved that so much, and I sold it because it was like going for 30 quid. I was like, oh, I'll put it up for this.
What was the show the Gundam show with Hero with Gundam Wing?
Gundam Wing.
The Gundam Wing. That's the best one of them all. Gundam Wing. I've got it on DVD.
It's great.
That's the best one with Hero.
It's a great one. Yeah. Gundam Wing is amazing. The Stealth Bomber Megatron I was gutted. I sold, and Ed gave it back to me like as a gift because I helped him sell a load of stuff. Most of the stuff you want, you can get back. If you're willing to pay the price.
This is a thing, though, isn't it? I mean, for me, anything really is fair game to sell on. Like I went mad at Marvel Legends a few years ago. I bought a load of Marvel Legends MCU stuff, and like I actually have shrunk that down now to just like one shelf, and I've sold the rest. And it didn't mean anything because I can go and buy them again.
If you stop enjoying it, isn't it? It's just like off it.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, it's like a lot of my G1 stuff. Certain items I've got like memories against, or like being at TFN, for example, or whatever. I want to keep those things that have sentimental value.
Yeah.
But anything that doesn't have sentimental value, then you know what? One day I might just go, oh well, I'll get rid of this now. And I've only ever rebought one thing, and that was Studio Series Barricade. I bought it for B&M for a tenner, and I thought I'm going to get rid of this. I bought as we went into lockdown. I bought Barricade and Bumblebee because they're in B&M, and I bought them. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't like them. Sold them. And then I wanted to get a shelf with all the 2007 Decepticon baddies on. I was like blackout.
I remember you building that up, yeah.
Yeah. And like I thought, oh, I'll just go and get another one. And I walked into B&M and they're still selling them in there. So I went and got one from there. Didn't lose any money. But everything I've sold, I haven't really missed.
I think we've gone complete circle now of why we have a fear of missing out. And the fact we've logically come up with, you know, we're not too bothered, but then we realised actually we are because we still suffer from fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Can I say my view?
Yeah.
I haven't gone there yet. Yeah. So do you recall? Do you recall 2 weeks ago? When was I?
This is a short
gentleman. Was it when I think it was when Brad and Rich were on last time, and it was like the fans' toys and Decepticons were getting re-released, right?
Yeah.
And I missed out, and I was like, I need these. Do you know what? Found them, right? I found four packs, right? All available. So I found purple chests, grey chests, 330 quid, 430 quid. I looked at them. I went, nah, don't need them. Do you know? Actually, you know what I considered? I considered like buying the grey chest ones and then selling the ones I've got now.
No, you're thinking about it.
for less than that's what I considered. I thought I could buy the grey chest ones for 430 and then sell the ones I've got for the price I paid, which is like 290, which is still £40 cheaper than the other ones are, and they're all boxed and minty, whatever. And I thought, but I'm not going. Do I really want them? I'm like, well, I've got bad cube ones, which then go grey chest to purple chest. I was like, do I want any of them? I said before, I was
problems.
Like, so now, no, but the whole point is, I said that I've cut down I've almost half my display deliberately, and I'll just share this photograph, which I shared with the guys. This is my little boy's playroom. My boy's playroom, right? This is about just over 2/3 of my Transformers, 70%, and the rest of 60 or 70% of them. The rest,
I'm
so
guessing
that's
they're
what's
not
in that
allowed
room.
in there anymore.
The rest of them on display, and this is what I haven't been able to put up around the other side because I haven't got room yet. Because I'm trying to work it out. Let alone this fucking beast behind me. So I still have, as you said, IKEA boxes to unpack and put up, right? But I know I don't have enough room, so I'm gonna have to make a serious decision about which ones I actually genuinely like and genuinely want to sell.
Yeah.
And as you said, you prefer to have the money in your back pocket, and I want to do this. I want to do other things with money, right? So it's which
Space
ones do I like?
Isn't it?
But then it's like
people just don't understand the pain, no matter how much we explain it.
I mean, I really love the masterpiece. I think certain things like the Quietest, the Cyclonus, right? So I probably would keep the movie characters and in season 1, and I'm like, and then if apart from that, I have no real affiliation, no real emotive connectivity to the bots. I'm like, I could sell them, right? And it's like, but what do I actually want with these? What do I enjoy? And what my little boy does is he likes posing them and doing that almost stop motion, like a little bit like Ultra Marcus does. And I love doing the photographs, and that's what I enjoy. I love doing that, but it's like I almost get more fun out of finding the older figures, like the Unique Toys Springer, which it's rare, 70 quid. It's rare, but finding something like that is like you get one every year. It's like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I'd love to get one of those, have it for a little bit, maybe sell it on. So maybe I'm evolving. And I think, as you said, you're going through. Andy said that you're going through the evolution of how you get through your what you do. You get it all, you select it all, and again, like in Toy Galaxy was saying he's gone through his 1, 2, 3, 4.0 like collection. I think I think I've changed this room so many times now. Like I think this is it, right? I want to downsize. I want to put Ninja Turtles up as well. I want to put like Thundercats up. I want space for things that I love. I want to sack rest off, right? And it's like, and again, FOMO is amazing, right? But
does it come down to like with the whole display thing? Like, no one's coming into our rooms to check shit off. Why are we displaying stuff? Like I'm sure I speak for all of us. We have stressful jobs. We all have fairly stressful jobs. Like we all work our asses off. I like to come in here at the end of the day and look at my shit.
I was going to say, I didn't want to know. Jamie, not so much.
No, I'm okay.
Jamie just wants loads of shit. Loads of fucking toys.
I
agree.
On Twitter.
I agree. That box of tissues that I kept next to the Unicron, I just don't do it anymore. No one's going to come in. So, the box of tissues is gone. That's it. Oh, well, my kids play
mute.
Anyway, it's gone.
Is it all right if I give my view really quickly and I'll keep it?
Go on then.
What have we been doing for the last freaking 60 minutes?
We've been an hour on this. For Christ's sake.
I closed it off. I said we're going full circle, and then Alexis took a bit to say in his bedroom.
There was a bit where Rich said everybody give their final point of view, and we went off into another freaking conversation about display space.
Fuck me.
I think the fear of missing out. I asked myself this the other day. Where I'd pre-ordered those shattered glass things, and I'll order them. Oh, they're exclusives. And then I asked myself, what am I missing out on? I've already got these toys, so what exactly am I missing? I've got no connection to this story, this comic. Same with Artfire. Oh yeah, I'll order that because I haven't got an Artfire. But I didn't even know what Artfire was until I was an adult collector, so I've got no affiliation to it. So what exactly am I missing out on?
He's a vegan.
He's a vegan. That explains it. But what am I missing out on? I'm missing out on some new paint. He probably loops back to what Rohan and going even fuller circle, Jamie. What Rohan was saying earlier about repaints that I haven't watched yet. That you know what? It's all self-manufactured, isn't it? It's all this fear of missing out is just relative to the time you're at. And you know what? It doesn't actually mean anything. Because when have we ever really missed out on anything?
That's
really.
Deep, Rich. That's deep.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're watching this Saturday night at 7 p.m, you have not missed out. You have not got FOMO. You've got us 5. Good night.
In the chat.
And that's it for this week's Transformers the Show. I want to say thank you to our guest, Brad, Exillion XLR. Forgot your name then. What's your channel, mate? What do you do?
It's Exillion XLR, and I do stupid fucking shit on YouTube with toys.
Okay, and you can find me.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, it's our show.
After about 2 hours worth of swearing, I think it is a bit late. I'm Xortrider. You can find me at Xortrider on Instagram and on YouTube. And before I hand over to Jamie and Alexis to talk about all the social media bump, let's give a shout out to our good mate Junkeep Dave, who's got his latest album out on Spotify, which is called 3, and he's also got a single out, the amazing Smokescreen song, which is just a masterpiece that me and Brad and Luffy kind of helped write.
I love that video.
Yeah. Okay, so you can find Transformers the Show on Twitter at Jamie.
You went to me. All right, wait a minute. Yeah. you can find Transformers the Show on Twitter, which is TF Show UK. TF Show UK.
Okay. Alexis, and where else can you find Transformers the Show?
Instagram, Transformers the Show.
Okay. And Andy, are you doing a TikTok? No.
Yeah.
Yes, I am, but it's not to do with Transformers.
and our special announcement, and a special announcement that our OnlyFans account, Brad.
Our OnlyFans account.
I was just subscribing to the Instagram.
Not cheese.
Where's she hidden the cheese.com? Hashtag beginner Wensleydale. And Beaks where there shouldn't be Beaks, the old classic. .net.
So that's it for this week. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week. And next week, Paul will be back from his dirty weekend of dollars. Goodbye.